Drum roll for LGD. What up in the series against EDG? And suddenly everything thrown out the window because LGD once again. Clement, what did you say?
They are the kryptonite of EDG. They always do this against EDG. Whenever Edward are looking up, they're looking strong, then down comes the hammer. LGD just wakes them up.
But I mean, from the start of that game, LGD were looking the best, right? And it was a slow progress for EDG to work their way back in, but there was one man who silenced the last fight, our MVP of game number 1. And here at the LPL, we commend our cannons, so well done to Lies.
Yeah, and there's a couple good reasons to give the MVP towards him. The first one is he actually came out of a really bad laning phase. 2 kills down against the Aurelia. That one really didn't collapse. And then in the later phases of the game, the team fight decisions that he was able to make to shut down the rest of the team, triple kill in the very last one, were very crucial. Now, just to look at a team fight where EDG actually won, we can contrast that and tell the difference on how Lies actually decided to play these ones. Now, it's important to remember that the most potent member on Edward Gaming is going to be Scout. If he has his entire combo, then it's your backline is never going to be safe. Now, in the first time around the Baron fight, you can see Lies goes in and Scout masterfully waits out the entirety of the Slicing Maelstrom with the Zhonya's and then goes in, finishes off the entire backline. Yep. So he still held on to his combo. And
because this one was very well played by EDG, but Lies, you know, found a big ultimate. And further to your point, it happened again, but in a very different way.
This one is important to notice how Lies actually holds on to his ultimate. He doesn't use it as soon as Scout comes in. He's already been tricked by that one before, so he waits until Scout already comes up, and then he pops his ultimate, forces the Zhonya. There's no pull already, so he can't go forward, and he also gets everything in the backside. Triple kill into the backline of the EDG combo. And that was an entire game where I actually felt that LGD became a little bit too timid on their team fights. They probably didn't understand that they were up by 7,000 gold and had full map control. If they started the fights themselves, a lot of them should have gone their way. And it was just at the Barons where they let things slip twice. They took the Baron buffs. Then they finally woke up. They did wake up, but it was a little bit late on LGD's side. I'm glad that Yuuki finally understood that he could go in. And to be honest, iBoy did make a bit of a mistake right there. He did use both the cleanse, both the QSS and the ultimate at the same time, so effectively nullifying his own potential.
He wanted to be safe.
He was a little bit too safe with that one, and that did give Lies that opportunity.
And then the opportunities like that for Lies is kind of what shines some of our top laners. So it's good to see that in this game so far, Lies has made what I would call a recovery to some of his previous performance. Hecarim, Neeko, you know, just go in and then that's it. I'm going to be a sacrificial lamb. Lies being patient is a step up for the top lane player.
It definitely is, and it's necessary when you're going to kite for Kramer. And that's very important for LGD. They can play crazy and wild and full map style, just chase you down for those kills, but when it comes to the late game team fight, when you have that extra layer of dancing, it makes EDG's life very difficult.
And it also shows for a team like LGD, if they can play like this against a comp of EDG that was set up for a late game nuke, as you put it, then for LGD, that levels the gameplay up a little bit.
It definitely does. And for EDG, their main problem is that they need to have more early game control. Giving over 4 kills, especially a lot of them to Yasuo early game, is not the way you want to go. And with a stronger jungler, with a stronger top laner, that play should not have happened. There was no way you tell me that, oh, our Trundle's how many CS ahead? Like 4 camps ahead and already has a kill and assist, and they lose to that.
And then now he's suddenly 40 CS down at the, towards the end of the game as well.
Yeah, so if EDG want to play this type of a style, they at least need to get their map control in place. I have to be brutally honest, but if any other team rather than LGD had that type of a lead, EDG would never have gotten 2 Barons. There was no reason for them to get those
25,
Yeah, so EDG have to wake up a little bit, and this is exactly what we were saying in the pregame, is the way LGD beats EDG is that they're crazier in the early game, and they have more sense of a 5v5 team fight in the late game. EDG is not a team that plays a lot of these 5v5s. They typically finish their business by 25. They don't look towards these 5v5s.
Quickest team in the LPL, whether it's a loss or a win. So
So either EDG needs to change some of their drafting priorities, or if they want to play early game, if they want to play mid game, they need to go. They need to go all the way.
Just play it. Yeah, that's right. You can't sit on the fence and go the half-ass method. So for EDG, the loss streak continues here, or at least for the game. In the meantime, I mean, coming into game 2 now, new expectations on LGD after what was a clean start to game number 1. And people like Yuuki, Eimy had a much better performance as well. I think that's what LGD need. Their jungler to be a solid factor like Kramer was in the past.
Yeah, like, I think Eimy coming back, there was a lot of worries for him, and I don't think he had a great first series. Just playing up against LGD,
I don't think
that was very difficult.
Ever a standout as someone like, you know, compared to Condi in the past.
This way of playing it, just putting him on the Sejuani, making sure that it's an easy to execute wombo combo, hit level 6, just come into my lane. At the very least, we're gonna blow a flash. That's a solid way to play. Yeah,
it's an easy way to play. Put him on Sejuani. Anyone can play Sejuani. You know, as proven by, you know, Medic in the EU. So some good advice to take away. Before we do get into that second game as well, remember that for LGD, this is still like an outside ring playoff team. Even with Condi gone, EDG are the team expected to get into playoffs, but if this goes any further, if this series turns into a 2-0 or 2-1 for LGD, suddenly it's like, well, we could take your position, we can move up, because there are a lot of teams vying for playoffs, and LGD could become one of them if they can't keep picking up these wins.
We've said this a lot of times, but general way we look at playoffs picture, DMO and WE probably have a very slim chance of getting in, and in their stead, LNG, LGD, Suning, BLG are looking for those slots.
Especially when at the moment, remember teams like BLG, you know, they weren't going so well, but are starting to improve. Suning are playing well too, and it was already hard enough for EDG, but 3 series in a row, looking down the barrel of their 4th, it's going to take a lot to bring it back here, and you're looking at one man, and I think, you know, when we hyped up Scout that much, and he starts performing on the Vladimir, you want a taste of just that bit more.
You want to see him be a bit more
aggressive. Get the 5-man.
Yeah.
He did have some big ultis, and you could see how that was swinging the other way. It was one more fight off the Vladimir, you know, wiping out LGD. It was just scary getting to that point for the mid lane.
He was the sole reason that EDG even had to come back in that game.
That's true.
3 team fights back-to-back where he just destroyed Kramer.
And this man as well, let's be fair, Jinoo on the Aurelia got an early lead, early kill on the top side, and there was somewhat of a snowball effect.
I would actually say just fight fire with fire if you're EDG. I don't think you can develop a team fight strategy or team fight sense
mid-series.
Yeah, it's very difficult to do. You know, you have to play towards what made you so successful, and that was basically Scout and Jiejie running around in people's jungle and just chopping people down.
Yeah, that's what you need to do. I'd love to see Jiejie make the return to some of those more aggressive junglers. Now, of course, the Trundle has been a good response into the Sejuani, but Jiejie in the past, it's the Olaf. I even picked up the Elise there as well. This suits his style. Early level 2, level 3 gank. A champion that can play around Scout even more in the early game and look for those 2v2 engages.
I have to be honest, that's the reason why a lot of times I don't even feel like the Trundle is necessarily that great of a counter pick against this Sejuani.
Slow pick against a slow pick, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can just work around Trundle. A lot of times if you're playing Poe comp, outrange the Trundle comp. He can't do much, and Trundle's not been known as being this great ganker either. So I would like to say I would like to see Jiejie play something that is more early tempo focused, that can gank. That's not just about pressuring out LGD and getting a CS advantage. Look,
I mean, play Carpet. At that point, I would have said just play Carpet. You know, like.
LGD are used to losing out in CS. It doesn't phase them. They're still willing to leave lanes with that are pushing into them and just make things happen.
I mean, that's because their ball was clipping after game 1. I'm willing to say it. Game 2 now erupts. Let's go. EDG on their preferred blue side. One of the few teams here in the LPL that likes it alongside BLG. For LGD back to their strong side. See if they can close this one out in 2-0 and create another upset against EDG.
It looks like EDG have the exact same thought that we do. They're banning away all of the ganking junglers early. Like, you're not influencing these lanes. You know what? we can have a game where neither jungler ganks well in the early 10 minutes, and we're perfectly happy with that one.
Whereas EDG are just taking away things like the Karma, things that, you know, in the past Yuuki has been really successful on. So it's good train of thought here from EDG, but they've lost yet another jungler. I like this.
What's left? Lee Sin's still up there. Lee Sin and Rek'Sai are still the ones up there. And with the Sylas,
and, I mean,
pairs really well.
Elise has been a go-to as well, Clement. Let's not forget, in rare cases. So I like that it's kind of put EDG's jungler into a corner again. See if he can come out of it with now the Sylas, the first pick for every game.
Standard answer here. Lux, Neeko, I think should be on the menu. Lux just has such a disgusting win rate in the LPL right now. Over 70% in the bot lane. All the supports have been spamming her. She goes great into kill lanes. We've been seeing a lot of Lux and Caitlyn's. It's been popping up in the Rift Rivals from the LCS and LEC as well.
Sure.
And great against the Yuumi and any AD carry, because with the shield bash and with the Guardians, you actually just out-trade.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, early game, Zoomies does nothing. It actually heals for 0, so it's a good opportunity to win lane, win game here for Kramer and PYL, but you pointed this out. You saw the Neeko.
Yep.
Gets locked
Neeko is standard answer to the Sylas, works well in the mid lane, works well in the top lane. So you flex, I flex, and I'm red side, so I win that flex.
We all flex. Just an update as well, if you didn't see the Lux win rate, it is 75% in the LPL right now. After being picked 33 times. 75%. Now, I called Aatrox baloney, but that is insane.
Yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous. Now, EDG finally going for the ganking jungler. They're going to go with the Zhao this time. Now, this is one of my favorite picks.
Yeah.
But I have to say, with the Zhao, if you don't make things work early, it's just so hard to come back in the game. The thing about Zhao is that he has a very tough time clearing Krugs earlier on. So unless you get an assist in at least an assist in your first clear, you're basically behind.
I like that Eimy is willing to pick the Skarner into it, though. What can really destroy Zhao is middle of a fight, you take him away or you get past him and just go straight to the carries. So we got to take matchup here into the bruiser of Jiejie.
Going with the Smithy route, and EDG taking away the Tahm Kench. Not taking away, they've already had the Lux selected.
It's okay, I'm with you. We got the Nash taken away at the very least. You're thinking, hang on, Tahm Kench is picked up by EDG. What did we pair it with last time? Well, you're not going to get that same luxury. LGD have just decided that not even Kramer is going to get Ashe in this second phase.
Yeah, Ashe is one that we actually haven't seen EDG play so far, but just taken away as a precaution. LGD don't like no copycats.
No, of course they don't. That was a no ban by EDG.
Huh.
Like EDG is like, all right, well, if you don't want it, that's fine. We'll just ban something else. Varus gets taken, so iBoy kind of getting slimmed down in the pool here, but remember that Sivir still open, LGD expecting to just take that away in the second phase.
Yeah, taking away Ashe and Varus, both of these. Varus has been cropping up as an anti-Sivir option quite frequently, so Sivir, Lux, right lane priority.
I just don't understand how you can forget to ban in a competitive setting. Like, bans are so, it's like that person in solo queue that opts for a no ban. Please don't do it again. There we go. A Yorick against Lies. Lies' favorite champion. He is played it once. He's the only person to play it.
This is essentially a no ban as well.
Yeah. Man.
Like, the Neeko's going top lane. I can tell you that right now. The Neeko's going top.
Lies plays Kennen. Neeko's the same champion. Let's be quite honest. And Sivir is expected here. So for LGD, I'm liking this draft. I'm thinking they're getting some really powerful picks across the line.
Yeah, and I wonder what EDG are doing. Like, that Sivir was a go-to ban, especially with the bans LGD have been throwing themselves. It's very obvious what they're going for.
iBoy likes to play it. Was probably hoping he could slip by and get to him, but now he's left in a corner. It's like, hey, it's a Kai'Sa or what else?
Kai'Sa's the safe option, but I actually like Kalista.
Oh,
what?
So, Tahm Kench can be played into the top lane. We'll talk about that getting in. Now, I'm not sure if this makes us like EDG's draft better or worse.
Let me see.
You're about to decide, Clement. Here we go.
So, Tahm Kench definitely going towards the top side.
Yep.
We've seen the Tiamat build in Korean Challenger just to get the early wave clear. And if you're playing a melee champion against him, this is nothing you can do. He's so hard to push out of lane. However, he doesn't have wave control earlier on, so you can force him to just stand and kind of in a very gankable position.
Stand and deliver, yeah.
He requires a lot of jungle attention is basically what I'm saying. So EDG are going for a composition that all of these lanes actually require some sort of jungle attention.
And, you know, after that game number 1, it makes it difficult here for Jiejie.
It definitely does. There's 2 ways to think about it. Number 1 is that wherever Jiejie goes, he has high probability of finding kills. The other one is saying that, well, if LGD gank good enough and if they just pressure all the lanes at the same time, then they could run away with a massive CS lead if just one of the ganks fail.
Very true. I do want to point out, as a point of comparison, while we are looking at that Tahm Kench top, it was played over in the LCK by Cuvée, so 1-for-1 there across the board. It was to the likes of the Sunfire Cape, the Warmogs, also Righteous Glory. He only got 1 kill out of 2 games, but you know, that's Tahm Kench. He's a front line.
Yeah, so. I'm just very, very curious to see how you're going to play that lane when you're going up against a range matchup. There's not a lot of champions you can actually touch with the Tahm Kench in this one. You think about the entire roster. Outside of the junglers, it's basically full ranged.
Yep. I like it though, Clement. You know why?
Why?
Because Tahm Kench, remember, the buff to Tongue Lash previously, the buff to the way that Tahm Kench can essentially win out these trades makes it that the top lane Tahm Kench, at one point we were expecting to see this, but we went by 5, almost 6 weeks gone, not seeing it whatsoever in the LPL, and finally, before we go to Rift Rivals, Jinoo decides, hey, I'll just bring it out in Game 2.
Look, Tahm Kench, as strong as he is, if you stand there and fight him, he does have a lot of weaknesses.
He doesn't die.
And those are that he can't follow up on people that easily, and he has no wave control earlier on. Very gankable, so you can't reverse the outcomes of that lane.
So then you're asking yourself, how will it develop if Jinoo's able to smash down? Tahm Kench top, debuting here in the LPL, and we always do things differently. Expect the Sunfire Cape, but it's Jinoo. He's the carry, and you know he has innovation at its best. We'll watch this one going into the second game. The crowd shot caller for EDG is always going to break their voice. I want to point out as well, thankfully, because it is an LGD series, we do not have 3 sets of chance. I actually wouldn't be surprised if I heard LGD again, but let's look further into this, Clement. Jinoo has decided it's time for Unsealed Spellbook and Precision going second. So that's what I want to look at, because here you can see that easy trades are going to come through, especially with EDG going for the invade over the wall. They hit the Crystal Spire, and of course this is always going to be spotted out by LGD, but good invade and good move here from Jinoo, who decides, I missed. Oh no. He'll get spotted out in his rotation as well, and hang on. PYL, no.
Yeah, that's just Neeko.
God,
I was a little bit confused.
Fix it.
I don't think it should happen on the...
it's on Observer Client as well. Come on.
So just looking at the way EDG is setting up for this early game, the main idea here is just to punish the lane priority in the bot side against the Alistar and Kai'Sa.
Yep.
They're going to do a vertical jungle swap, and that basically means that LGD need to play relatively safe here. They can't really push out, and Kai'Sa's going to reach her items quite easily.
Especially since we've got a level 2 gank in the making. Audacious Charge, Flash as well. Now onto PYL. The knockup's going to come through. iBoy following up, but this one's just for damage. Flash for Flash in the bottom lane, and Jiejie was so gung-ho about that.
Oh, okay. They just want to kill him. Like, this is a very planned play, like, because later on, they're going to have the Flash from Alistar to go in. It's almost impossible to spell shield that, and with Scout around, easy to set up this kill. We've seen how this lane works before. If Sivir doesn't have Flash when it comes to the level 6, then Alistar can just go in. If he gets the E trample down, the stun down, then it's very easy for those plasma stacks to just build out and for Kai'Sa to find the kill.
Also remember that if Jiejie is vertical jungling and he can hover around the bottom lane, that's great. But top lane is also going to be an issue because LGD have access there. Blue buff going to be spotted out here, but still being taken now. As I talk about that, Jiejie has once again made his rotation spot. He has Hex Flash. What?
Oh, this is ultimate cheese.
He wanted to come back in. Hex Flash for the making. Meiko underneath turret onto Kramer. They go for the audacious charge. They get first blood. Meiko takes a second turret shot, but he lives because the teleport comes down as well. Jiejie's going to trade his life. PYL under turret. Everyone survives, but the jungler, a 2-for-1 EDG, gung-ho again.
And this is the most common play that we've seen in the LPL when it comes to bot lane dives. There's a 3-3 versus 2-2s. All three members on EDG side had an extra skill over LGD. Kramer no flash, falls down early. Even though PYL gets a great lights binding onto the incoming Jiejie, you still can't stop that.
I'm just so surprised we have a Zhao with Hex Flash. Like, that's so great. This innovation from EDG is what got them this 2-for-1 trade.
Yeah, you just don't expect the timings on that. You see Jiejie going back for his own red, and you think you're safe underneath your own tower, but no, Jiejie has other plans, and those double buffs going over to Scout just makes it so easy for the gank snowball to continue to happen in the mid lane.
Running down and picking up that kill as well.
This is a composition I much prefer EDG to run. There's a lot more potential on early action. It's go, 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 go. There's nothing like a Vladimir in the mid lane that doesn't have priority or you have to wait for.
Yeah. Who would have thought we wouldn't be talking about the Tahm Kench? Because Scout now, even though he got down and picked up that kill, look at the CS difference. Look at what Yuuki was able to achieve. He chose not to roam, not to TP down. The play was lost, so you have to commend the mid laner of LGD for actually choosing the right course of action. He's in a lead, has a dagger in lane, and will be able to just receive the wave and start scaling up.
And they're going to have to think about how they want to deal with this bot side, because this is going to be a reoccurring theme.
Oh, crap. Eimy's here, though. Hex Flash coming in.
Maybe not.
Oh, my
maybe not.
God.
There would have been some surprises for Jiejie.
There is the Scorpion here with Flash. So Hex Flash, again, that innovation trying to come through towards the bottom lane. And Clement, you are right. I was talking about scaling of mid. It's not going to matter. Eimy going to get caught out here as well. And this is where the plays will continue to erupt.
I love the patience here on LGD. They hide the position of their own jungle, so they don't know where the Skarner is just yet. They're actually going to take over a good portion of their map back.
Spotted out by a ward, though, is Eimy, so going back to his own jungle, that's okay. Needs a Spire here to clear this faster, but we'll get it after picking up the Gromp.
Man, Hex flashing junglers are just so damn dangerous.
I mean, it's just such a nice innovation again.
If you look at the warding from EDG, Jiejie can still find his way into the lane quite easily.
Yeah.
At most, he Hex flashes over the Dragon Wall, and he'll still be in.
And remember, you can always touch up that mid lane as well, even though there's an Emperor's Divide there. Jiejie now moving to the other vertical side. He's just gone from one to another. We'll take away this chicken. Eimy going to spot him out now after getting into his own territory. But Jiejie able to get through. Still another camp away.
Yep, the Skarner does need the Spire secured if he wants to win that trade. He's going up against Challenger. Oh,
bottom lane
great
trade.
binding.
Yeah, Meiko not going to take too much damage here. Good spell shield, even better from Kramer. Hang on, the flash to come through. And now for the Boomerang Blade. Better trade still coming through. The light binding doesn't connect. The Scout comes down for the roam. On the hunt is stolen, but a TP coming through. He used it just to get out.
Yuumi good roam here. He had the Emperor's Divide, so Scout, very smart on that one. Does decide to back off. Doesn't want to run into full force into a wall.
But Yuuki's hanging around here, Clement. Has the Emperor's Divide available and Scout at half health. iBoy has the heal, but or rather not quite. EDG lose out on this trade, and a good response from LGD to waver the aggression that EDG keep bringing to this bottom side.
And PYL has just been on point with these light bindings. That was a double two-piece on his side, catching both members of EDG, stopping the aggression, stopping the damage, and they're able to trade back on Meiko. They force the flash from him as well. So very well played by PYL. It's been a very long time since we've seen him on the Rift. He has taken a long hiatus. RD has been filling the starting role, but he's been using his time well.
I don't think we can talk about that now, Clement, because PYL in a bit of trouble. They were backing away, but look at where the Zhao is. Eimy moving into him. Predator now propped. He wants the kill onto Jiejie. Flashes away, but he doesn't care. He has Hex Flash. It means he gets to do the crazy stuff again.
Oof. And this is getting quite tough for EDG. They're losing a lot of this early game tempo. You can see the summoners are now all up for the bot side of LGD outside of that flash, and their windows for getting kills easily here are closing.
Yeah, level 6 now on the Scorpion as well. Flowers, if you're out there, you're about to see some magic here from Eimy. This man ready to go fast, who already has a lead in jungle due to how Jiejie's been trying to focus this bottom lane.
In the top side, nothing much really happening. We haven't been given a lot of...
Except boots of swiftness on Lies.
Just to make sure you don't get caught by the tongue lash.
So negating a lot up to the top lane, but still bottom lane focused here. LGD is a 4-man unit. Start this dragon up.
Yeah, great vision on the bottom side. Jiejie, can he get the steal?
Stolen, finds it, not onto the Sivir, but onto Yuuki. Now with the light binding to come through, they get the final spike with Jiejie. Gonna get erupted while Meiko finds a 2-man knockup. In comes Lion, the flank though. He's here first. He pop blossoms down, and that's all you need. LGD have taken this handedly. They'll chase after Scout. They'll knock him once, twice, while iBoy tries to get the auto attacks off and Lies is burning down. Will he die? Scout comes back in, but he gets tickled with a little bit of fancy. iBoy to run back in, and PYL sacrifices his life, but iBoy flashes on in. Doesn't have the Q evolve, but might not need it. The W is the magic there.
Does he have the mana for W? Yes, he does!
He's not going to find it. Kramer easily moves out of the way, and LGD end up trading even.
Ooh, such a close team fight being traded back and forth right there. And I think the main reason that EDG were able to come out slightly ahead was Meiko's great initiation onto Yuuki. Does manage to catch out multiple people and the main damage dealer before the Emperor's Divide could even come out here. So you could see Skarner going back, just dragging. Oh, it was actually Scout.
It was fake Skarner.
It was Scout dragging Yuuki back to his death before he could really get any of his sustained damage in, and then you see a sustained trade, but most importantly, iBoy does get the red buff from all of that, able to chase back, and LGD have to back out right here. It was a really good spell shield and a great lights binding from the bot lane of LGD, but they can't hang with iBoy.
And it went to all iBoy. Look at the gold there. Manamune now picked up. The Kaiser accelerated here in this game, so while it was a 3-for-3 trade across the board, LGD down 1,000 gold, now have to contest with Jiejie towards this top side, and even Scout and Meiko have made the roam. Lies has the pop blossom down, Jiejie flashes on into it, wants to get himself over, but Lies is still going to die, still makes it worth, and still gives Scout his second kill.
A little bit too curious on Lies' side. You know that Herald Blade is coming over.
Oh, hang on, you're going to find yourself Jinoo, though, in the bottom side, but remember, Tahm Kench, he does not die. Catfish man, still okay in this 2v1.
People always just call him a frog in China. Nobody calls him a catfish.
But the thing is, he's not a frog, he's a catfish.
I'm sorry, he's a catfish. Okay.
And Eimy coming down, here we go. He's going to catfish Jinoo. Level 8 on the Tahm Kench, just backs away. Going to be the Bammy Cinder here as well. And this game's been going so fast that we haven't had a chance to talk about the top lane. And it hasn't been important up until that last play where Lies came in and Jinoo has decided, teleport to lane, stay in the lane, get to that one-item power spike where we're seeing the Bammy Cinder soon turn into Sunfire Cake.
They probably didn't have teleport for that one. You know, he is running Unsealed Spellbook, so lots of changes in that one. You do see the Ghost being selected.
Yep.
I like that idea for the kill potential.
We've got a Rift Herald top. We also got Lies in a bad position. He walked back under turret, but I think he's going to regret this the most. Lies going to die a second time. And you're giving it over to iBoy. We're TP in the bottom lane. Jinoo looking for the engage onto Kramer. The Emperor's Divide to get the frog off of them. Final Spark doesn't get the kill, but LGD all grouped up towards the bottom side where they're losing out hard top.
He's so thick. You just can't take him down. I'm talking about the thick skin.
Yeah, no, of course you were. Scout coming in, Pop Blossom down here. He stole the ultimate. We're just fighting again. Scout gets one onto Yuuki. Now Meiko caught out. Double light binding again from PYL. Trying to carry here on this Lux, but Jinoo eats him up. They connect, but Jinoo's still able to take it away, and LGD can't get the turret while this top lane force is still working out.
So just to take hold of the situation, it was 6-4 a while ago. So EDG actually just come out with the extra 2 kills onto the top side, and of course a return kill back and forth in the bottom lane between Yuuki. A lot of messy plays, but gold lead over towards EDG. They do take the 2 towers onto the top lane, so a better defense there. The 4-man couldn't crack the 3-man in the bot side, and the 2-man decimated Lies in the top side.
And the turret is still there. Like, the bottom lane turret's still there. LGD with turret plating up have yet to open the map, and this is looking like the game one from the reverse with a look here onto Scout just cleaning up Yuuki.
Yeah, really good engage, wombo combo. Scout goes in Pop Blossom, WQ combo.
The support's hanging out.
And there's just not enough minions for them to chase down that kill. They're just off by a little bit.
I said this was like game one. Well, I stick by my statement here. A 3-1-3 mid laner. iBoy's in such an advantage. I mean, he's got 1,500 gold over the Sivir. Even the mid lane, 1,200 there. Top side is where Lies is excelling, but he's died a couple of times now as well. He's given that gold over to Scout and iBoy. So right now, win condition for LGD, where we talked about how they were going to potentially diffuse some of these lanes, hold on with the pick potential that's come through from the Skarner. Well, EDG, that was a weird noise. EDG have such a lead right now that this is only going to get better.
It's just the Q evolve coming in from iBoy. And LGD, they had 3 range lanes that had priority if they were able to keep themselves in the laning phase.
Yeah.
However, that one is completely over. Herald already taken from the entirety of the top side. So this is where we really see the Tahm Kench in action. This is what I'm really curious about. The first Tahm Kench top lane that we're seeing in the LPL. I think mainly the way you have to initiate is just put yourself in the thick of it and Abyssal Voyage behind enemy lines.
True. Get aggressive with it. Still hasn't picked up that first item, but that should be coming soon. Jinoo on the roam with the rest of EDGs. They go back into the vertical jungle that started it off here, taking away the spies, denying the Skarner. And even that tongue lash does so much to Yuuki. He just has to walk away, and he didn't get any turret plating in that top lane. Still does a bit of damage, but you can see why iBoy is so accelerated. 613 gold. Very specific.
Yeah, we're going to see the Rage Blade and the Manamine.
Picked up before 12 minutes, by the way. 2 items at 12 minutes is disgustingly good.
This is going to be a fast one. A lot of times we see the completion of Muramana around 19 minutes, 18:40, around that time.
Yeah.
But this one, we might be seeing in pre-18.
Here we go. Get in. Oh, Liza's just walking away. They spent a lot of time there. I think he's just out.
Yeah, Scout didn't need to go on that ride. Probably could have forced a flash.
Lars just walks out all the same, so still with summoners in hand. Might be an opportunity because the teleport's going to come in handy here if Eimy and PYL can stop this bottom lane rotation.
And not a dive that EDG really want a chance at this point. Both solo laners not around this section. So just taking a bit more control.
What does that say, Clement?
It says Jiejie Jiao.
×1.
Well, if you do donate to the cause and support the players, then you have your name appear on stream.
Is it like a certain amount of money? Do they donate a lot?
I heard that you don't actually require that much of a donation to appear on stream.
Just so you're all aware. Don't do that in our Twitch chat. You get absolutely nothing. We can if you want, actually.
Hey, we don't mind.
I'm not going down this path, actually.
Come on.
I'm going to just incriminate myself the further I talk. You've got yourself a 3k gold. Like, speaking of money here and all realism, there's 3,500 gold still on EDG at 16 minutes. So this game still looking like a sure thing, but remember that Yuuki this whole time has been farming away, still the Azir, and Neeko's got her first item towards the top side, and even the Sivir building towards that IE second for Kramer. So there's a lot that can come online over the next couple of items that EDG still have to be aware of.
LGD just don't want to fight at this point. The key thing for EDG in this next couple of minutes before 20, if they can crack the mid lane, then it will become a very, very easy game. But the way they have to do it is they need to think about how to spread LGD out. Yep. You can see they're having side lane, top lane priority, and the most likely play for them afterwards is just to Abyssal Voyage, just basically drop themselves behind the mid lane tower, get a kill onto Yuuki, finish off that mid lane tower, and snowball to Baron.
And not get caught out like
Here we
this,
go.
As Yuuki's going to jump on 2 people. The heroes engage, it seems. Yuuki ignited, though. Clementy's still dead.
And that was not a good idea from Yuuki. I think the best way for him to play that was actually just to stick around in mid lane.
He was baited by the control ward. He saw it, but he didn't see anyone else with it. So EDG, if they want to crack open this mid lane turret that you suggested, then more picks like that makes it even easier.
But they do spot the bot side from LGD rotating towards mid. LGD understand this as well. Mid lane tower is going to be the most important. It's far better for Baron contest to have your mid lane tower up rather than your bot lane. So they are going to rotate, save themselves the trouble, and EDG are going to take the undefended objective.
But the thing is, they've got vision on that top side, and the only person they don't see is Yuuki, who's moving across. iBoy and Meiko backing away. That seems rather smartly, as the bottom wave eventually pushes in and draws the Azir's attention, while Lies heads towards the top side, and it does no damage to Jinoo. I mean, granted it's grey health, but he'll just heal that one back up.
Playing against Tahm Kench top lane is
fun, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's
so fun.
Pretty frustrating.
If
your jungler doesn't come, like, nothing happens.
I was going to say, he doesn't even have his first item, and he's just that aggressive. He's got Spectre's Cowl, Bammy Cinder, Glacial Shroud. Like, Jinoo building different ways at the moment.
It's the tasting menu.
Yeah.
So like bit of this, a bit of resist
a
here.
Bit of some canapes in the inventory at the moment as EDG might be caught out. They walk blindly into this jungle. LGD there with the final spark, but Meiko pops back to jungle himself. They get the stun. He walks away, but Scout into the middle, but the Pop Blossom does more. Lies again, working well in synergy, but iBoy into the backline with the killer instinct now onto Kramer. He flashes himself, but Yuuki wants to jump on him. iBoy still lives. So does Scout. To turn this fight around, he needs a Kingslayer, but he can't find that. LGD open wide, and EDG come inside.
And once again, Lies comes to the rescue. A beautiful Pop Blossom. I believe he got 4 people on the front side of EDG. EDG is playing a little bit too rough. Not Vision setup, walks into light binding there, and the entire team of LGD is prepared to engage. On the hunt used, everyone onto the same location. And are we going to see another comeback?
From LGD, the Kryptonite Clement. Every single time these teams meet, it doesn't matter if EDG have been performing well. In this case, they really haven't in the previous series. But LGD constantly the damaging factor to this team. And even in the second game with such a lead built up, down it goes.
I need to see that team fight again. Just looking at it, LGD actually had the vision advantage. They had the teleport coming in first as well. And even though they try to focus down on Skarner, it just takes too long for them to get the kill. Oh my god. Beautiful Pop Blossom. That was on the entire backline of EDG. All 3 people caught there.
Yeah, it was
and
insane.
Just look at the vision game being played by Kramer on the small screen. Very smart of him to step back into the brush. And it forces Jinoo to guess with his tongue lash if he can actually hit Kramer, and Kramer dances around that pocket, goes back in to clean up the fight.
Ooh, Scout, though, getting aggressed on in the 1v2 now. He proto-belts away just a dodge, trying to waste time. He has to impale himself. The rest of LGD are coming up here. He uses his first, but the Emperor's Divide send him skyward while the teleport to come in for the engage. Scout living very long. Jinoo, now what is this going to do? What is the purpose of this?
Is he going to outlast this fight?
Jinoo, very tanky. It's a 5 now versus 3. He flashes over the wall. Scout's still alive. Sun turret going down with Meiko and iBoy joining the fight. Scout should live here. And that teleport, I guess it was worth.
That was very unexpected. That looked like a bad idea for a long time.
My god, but what? Yeah, sure. All right. So a lot expended, though, for EDG. There was a couple of flashes there from Scout and Jinoo. Now we'll see if it's going to hurt them in the next fight because that's an Emperor's Divide taken. They eventually rotate towards the bottom side and start moving up to increase their vision line.
Double flash for a Ocean Drake traded away on the bot side. I have to give this one to LGD. I prefer their trade. And we have to remember the time is ticking for EDG.
Yeah.
LGD with the Azir and the Sivir ramping up.
Because they're on their 1-item, 2-item power spikes. Like the Neeko especially, you've got your 2 Glacial Augment enhanced items on that top lane Chameleon. And Eli's being in a good position now, sets him up to look for some of these picks. But EDG, no tempo is a factor. As Emperor's Divide comes out, they want that mid lane turret, but LGD's wave clear is insane.
Definitely so. I agree with the Colonel on this one. The further this game goes, the better it is for LGD. He gave it a 70, I believe like a 55% chance as it reaches 35 minutes for LGD over the likes of EDG. And this is something they need to pay close attention to. LGD has done very well in defending their own jungle. Look at the vision that they've been able to scan, especially with those spires as well. It's actually quite easy to hold on to control.
A lot of vision ward priority here from LGD as well. Look at it across the board. Couple just placed there by Kramer and PYL. But with that priority, I would also say Yuuki, sell the 1 Doran's ring, get some control wards here. I always hate it competitive when we just see the lack of priority on vision control. But still 2 items on the Azir here to highlight the player.
Hey, you don't like my 15 vision score with Trinket?
No, you should have more.
You definitely should.
Good to see Amy's keeping up with the support, though. Shout out to SOFM, who goes above and beyond there in the vision score in the jungle. Actually, Jiejie keeping up with Meiko as well. So there's some highlights here from really both teams, but at the end of the day, LGD, that gold lead's only 2K now. We're still at a point where you're fearing if you're EDG that tempo is slowed down. 23 minutes in this game when iBoy is that fed that he's not getting even more.
And I want to see EDG try to focus down on some of these side lanes. You have to remember, if Scout goes to the side lane, he lands something, and Kai'Sa follows up, it's a very easy kill. And he's going to have that teleport to match anything that happens on the other side of the map. So that's a way that EDG can try to break this stalemate rather than going into the ARAM mode. Here they go.
Yeah, this is dangerous though, because Jiejie jumps in first, pops the ulti straight away. Kramer always gets bursted out. Meiko dodges away from the live binding, but Pop Blossom coming on here. Scout hits nobody while the final spark to come through. But they've found Yuuki, they've found the Azir. 4 versus 5, and EDG with one simple pick now open up the window for Baron.
Where did he go? I didn't even see how he collapsed. It was a great hit on PYL just to make sure that Scout couldn't come into the composition, but I didn't see how Yuuki died at all. He didn't even get to flash.
And at this point, the longer this Baron goes on, LGD will be able to send him into the fray once again. But EDG are really just smacking it home. 4 versus 5 for LGD still for 12 seconds. Oof. Goes gold, and that's Scout on the side. Pop Blossom negated by Lies. He tries to use it onto Jiejie, who flashes over the wall. Out of the Baron, EDG want to find the fight instead. PYL, the one caught out, and the Lux just drops instantly. Teleport now here for Yuuki. We're still in a 4v5.
That was a really good play from EDG. You rarely see both flanks advancing that well at the same time to force the entire composition for LGD to back out. They were on the top side, making sure Skarner couldn't try a backsteal, and they were on the front side as well. So nothing that LGD could really accomplish right there, and they give up another kill on PYL.
Immediately, you do get the mid lane turret off the back of it, though. So for LGD, at least opening up windows in this game, getting Bob back, Maker's found a good flank position, but LGD negate it straight away into the fray again. We once again see the Emperor's Divide used by Yuuki, sends him into a corner while Lies locks him on down. The Azir is still free firing, but Yuuki, the ult from the Killer Instinct on iBoy, doesn't get him. He goes gold, and he's still alive. Into the side, it's Kramer now who's hitting away. He gets jumped on by the jungle, and EDG spit out what they chew. A triple over to EDG's iBoy. And that fight so back and forth could have gone LGD's way.
Insane aggro juggling from EDG. They just hop in and out of vision, so Kramer can never finish off one target. Meiko goes back in the brush. iBoy flashes over the wall, and they all escape in sub 200 HP situations to wipe the team fight from LGD.
Once more, let's go.
That was so damn close from their side. Meiko finds a perfect engage right here. He gets Yuuki. Yuuki's like, not again. He goes back. And just look, this is a free-firing situation for Kramer. Great Emperor's Divide. But how do EDG manage to escape all of this? This is absolutely insane. You can see iBoy coming in, very low health. Jinoo actually going low as well. Meiko almost no health. And two of them still are able to come back and just make it a one-sided fight for EDG.
And as we come back to live, PYO was picked off by iBoy. 8th kill of the game, and EDG start the Baron with another 4v5 from LGD, but this time committing to the Baron and committing to the Pop Blossom. They've picked up the objective, and Scout gets the stun onto Eimy. So that's just it. EDG now with a firm grasp back on this game.
Good zoning from EDG. You know Eimy doesn't have flash. Stick to him with CC and make sure he can't come anywhere near the pit. Strong finish from EDG, and they're now in a 6K gold lead. This is the difference between EDG and LGD when one side has a lead. EDG are not hesitant to start things, to finish off team fights.
Yeah.
They know how to play with the lead.
Squeamish was the response of LGD in game 1, but EDG are anything but that. Colonel comes in, you flip-floppy man. 88% he believes, and at this point you would too. I want to point out in that last fight that for LGD, the bane of their existence became the stolen Skarner ulti. The benefit of Sylas running into something as strong as an Impale is that Scout can choose between ultis at that level 16 so frequently, and when one of them is the Impale, it's a key ulti that, in the last fight, Yuuki was unable to auto because he just got pulled back.
And in the last couple of fights, EDG actually always found the pick before LGD could fully fight them in a 5v5. You think about the mid lane, it was Yuuki dying, and before that it was PYL getting decimated.
Yeah.
So this is, again, the style of EDG where when they think about team fights, they're mainly thinking about how do I get that nuke down? How do I get that instant pick?
Double Hex Flash. Hello, Eimy. Underneath Tahm. We're going to fight once again. They audaciously charge onto Eimy, and he's already dead with Yuuki sitting in the back line. He can't free fire away. Scout even comes in for CC duty while we're in another 4v5. LGD keep getting picked off one by one.
And that's just so well played by EDG. They take the Zhonya's into consideration. I'm going to cut your back line off. I'm going to basically attract all of the firepower away from your carries, and we're going to have time in the front to just kill Eimy.
And then suddenly we're left to a point where now underneath their inhibitor turret, LGD want to fight, but they've already lost the turret. They're walking away. Jinoo getting hit out hard, but look at the grey health. Top lane Tahm Kench still alive. Meiko re-engages an iBoy. Goes in with a killer instinct, but too ambitious. I think so. Double light binding into the final spark. They're going to fire away once again, and it's Yuuki who's got the best of the situation. He sends out the soldiers, and with the audacious charge not even getting ready, Yuuki picks up a double.
And that was not worth it from EDG. We've been saying this the entire series, but EDG, if you want to play this style, you want to play this tempo, you can't make mistakes like that. That was a massive shutdown gold lead going over to LGD and to Yuuki of all people.
That's right, the person you don't want to have it. And when they find Kramer, they're like, yeah, we can do this. But EDG got the turret and didn't leave.
That was a situation where 100% the correct play was just to let Jinoo die off. It's not worth giving up shutdown gold, or Meiko, excuse me, not worth giving shutdown gold over to the enemy team just to trade that one back. And you have to think you're also a Baron team as well. So these are multiple turrets, inhibitor turrets even, that you could have gotten if you didn't go for that trade.
And with another Baron coming up in about 2.5 minutes or so, that Baron buff is about to expend. There was no inhibitor from that trade too, so inhibitor turret, the only thing to drop, means that, yeah, look at Yuuki. Look at the gold difference mid.
It's been negated completely. He is now perfectly on par.
Now the biggest difference on the map is still, rather, iBoy and Kramer. If Kramer able to keep going in these fights, able to get his 4th item, then he starts getting closer to iBoy too. So in the lane matchups, when LGD was so far out when this game should be over, and it should be going to a Game 3, LGD getting closer to that win condition to potentially shut EDG down further.
Yeah, EDG still like playing on the knife's edge. They like forcing things a lot. They don't want to ever play a game where they have to claw themselves back from behind. So always very strong-headed when they have that sort of a lead. But we've also seen this kind of bite them
Yep.
in the past before, where they just go a little bit too aggressive. They can back out at times and just settle for a better deal, but they're not willing to do that. And right now, I think they're going into a situation where if you look at the items, the Zhonya's are all completed on the front line.
Sure.
And it's going to be harder to get those focused down. It's going to be harder to prevent LGD from coming up with some sort of a big AoE wombo combo going down. PYL has been super on point with all of these light bindings, and it's just a matter of time before someone gets caught by that.
And now Sivir has 4 items as well, so look at what's on the board. Double zeal here for Kramer. He's going to be a key aspect, as well as Yuuki getting the Zhonya's Hourglass. Harder to kill. 3 items on the top side. It's the Zhonya's 3rd for Lies. So all these core items just coming through and making LGD look even more competitive in this second game. Still the same gold lead, but Infernal's coming up next, and this one is a hot topic for both.
PYL needs to be very safe around this corner, but at this point in time, as long as LGD makes sure that the ones being focused is their own front line in Eimy, I think they should be fine. Like, their 5v5 actually is not as weak as it may look with the results of these team fights.
Oh, but they know
I love this.
Yeah, because they saw the support on a ward, so Jinoo gets pulled back. He has to flash. The final spark almost kills him, but it's Kramer in the end. For LGD, the trigger's been pulled. Meiko locked down. Lies stops him from getting in the fight with the pop blossom coming down. Scout flashes forward, but look at Yuuki. Look at the bottom lane as iBoy decides to ult in now. They're going to reverse ulti. They find himself, but iBoy is still alive. You're right, Clement. You're damn right. Meiko with a 3-man knockup. Scout jumps in, and EDG have taken the fight. All because Meiko brings it back, redeems himself, and iBoy does the rest.
iBoy breaks the double-digit kill barrier, going at 11 kills right there. That was a great start from LGD. I love the idea right there. They did have a sizable team fight advantage, especially after taking out Jinoo, but iBoy just weaved in and out so perfectly. He actually baited out the response from Lies. Lies using his Pop Blossom, and then he cleanses and walks out of the ultimate, goes into a brush, finishes off all the kills. A true top-tier AD carry for sure.
And EDG, look, showcasing here in game number 2. We're going the distance in a series that has been bloodthirsty, back and forth, and looks to deliver in this final game.
40 kills in game 2, 12 of them going over to iBoy, and he closes it out with authority. A lot closer than I think both teams would have wanted it to be, But at the end of the day, you know, EDG still found that team fighting prowess when it counted the most.
iBoy was aggressive that game. Really felt the momentum. I mean, Scout alongside him, but at the end it was that 3-man knockup that solidified the game. It was Meiko who won the rest of that team fight because iBoy, you know, he was next on the menu for LGD.
Jinoo died for nothing, and Meiko was down at half health in that team fight. That was entirely the backside of iBoy really bringing it back for the team. Amazing performance for him, and I think this is why EDG has been such a bot-side focused team for over all these years. They just know how to play around it better than most teams in the LPL. They have more cheese strategies than you have regular strategies.
That's true. Oh, look at the damage. I'm just looking at Kramer and iBoy meeting midway. Because you give another item, I mean, Kramer starts doing that in fights. He starts clearing them a lot faster as well. But iBoy was accelerated from the get-go. It was that early double. It was 3 kills before 10 minutes that made him such a threat.
One thing that EDG does in team fights I think a lot of teams could learn from is they wedge teams against terrain so damn well. You could see Scout, the angle he was going for, he actually pushed Kramer towards the top side, towards the mid lane, and nobody could deal with nobody could deal with iBoy. His damage was unreturned on the bottom side of that fight. So if you want to learn team fighting, this is what EDG can teach you. You see an L shape, you put your tanks in front, you put your engages in front, you drive the team into 2 parts, you make sure the side that has damage will win over, and then you can Zhonya's and just buffer for the damage dealers on the
Much better early game though for EDG, and that's how we got to those late game fights and them being so successful with iBoy having such a lead and Scout being a facilitator of him.
Play something that can gank, play something that focuses on bot side, and just have Scout on something that is aggressive rather than waiting and trying to play defensive. That's not who EDG really is, and we've seen so many times that's not usually how EDG wins against LGD.
Yeah, that's right. So I think it was a confident win from EDG, even though that over push in the mid lane, but it was well recovered and it was still such a big gold lead that EDG needed a couple more mistakes like that to really just throw it away. Simple, right? Really simple. I think it's impressive in the sense that EDG actually held on and played so much better than that game 1. Like, that game 1 for EDG was, you know, shocking.
I think the main difference is the willingness to just narrow down on the focuses of the map.
Yes.
They didn't try to do anything in the top side.
They did not.
They were like, well, we're playing against Lies. You know what? It's probably going to build cloth armor. Let's forget about that lane. I'll play Tahm Kench. Extra protection for iBoy. That's good. Jiejie, vertical jungle, 24/7. These are the 2 lanes we want you in.
And Jinoo was so damn quiet that game anyway. So even though playing towards the weak side, LGD found other windows to pick through, but took us to a game number 3 where we now find ourselves going directly right after this.
这个时候过来之后，反而是被包夹了呀，滔博。
哎，这个截流了，飞机飞下山，最后一点血量直接被霞给收掉了。唐威这里交出一个闪现，但是 mistake 还是最后一点被369一下平 A。我的天哪，又开始了。
侧面的话，洛也过来，现在就看你守塔的人到底有多少。如果人很多，那 IG 直播就算了。而且反身是要包的，大鱼这个位置交闪过来，最后杀的非常好，但大鱼进去被封着了。卡莎2局第一目标先杀落死了。皇子这个大招做完以后，一个穿了4个人在自己的位置，太尴尬了。皇子也倒残局在4打3的残局，一普有点无敌的意思。焦太郎这边偷了一个鳄鱼大招回来，想反杀一普，但一普作战能力太强了，把虚空阻敌再杀一个。这边大招拍空拍在表上了，而且这边倒钩拉死了对面普的情况下，一普又要收割了，这又是一波4个人头。
出来应该是喊套，应该是要喊滔博接战的。
现在
听到，但是这里 EZ 直接被戳死了。
对，有沙皇的兵，这边猫咪
再推一下，直接中路拿到双杀。
宁这边先开龙，塞拉斯踢到中路。这个位置2人的技能来讲，来看看绿毛的位置很好，叫过来，恐惧 谁？自己开一个秒表，恐惧的是宁，宁在龙坑里，龙是被宁拿掉，宁这边可以给自己先开一个大招，但是塞拉斯已经切进来，就那个大招把他们进行炸散，卡莎先收掉了宁，往回将一个闪现过来，一个 R 技能只打到了 Zoom 以及前排，但九斗被希尔弹死，萨斯闪现一绑住了光辉，光辉女郎也阵亡，而且 Forge 跟自己的 AD 分割了。哦，这波绿毛的跳大加小夫的一个大招，直接是把 IG 的阵型炸散了。好，直接把希尔大招逼出来了。跳大闪现恐惧，这个恐惧感觉10000秒啊！
现在大招开了出来，
大家都在前沿大招里。鳄鱼直接一个闪现进场，宁这边交闪给上护盾，侧面宝蓝还没有死，宝蓝也给上护盾，但是伊普进来把宝蓝收掉了。侧面的话，伊普再收一个卡尔玛，伊普这波要成收割之势了。瑞兹这边来不及等车开完，再成一个闪现。正面这个秒表开完，伊普又一个 W 收掉他，3杀4杀在手，这波谁抢了伊普一个人头？